welcome to Round Robin. I'm Celine Guerrero with the City of Hampton, and with us today is Rob Wyman, the lead communications director, would you say?
Sure, close enough. Yeah.
For NASA Langley, and he's here to tell us about what's going on at NASA Langley as far as research goes, and what is NASA Langley doing, and what is it? Can you please explain? Welcome.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me, and I appreciate the opportunity to tell you guys about what we are doing today, because it's incredible. So we are in full tilt right now. It's our centennial year. So in addition to doing all of the day-to-day work and projects and tests and lab work and everything that's going on at NASA, we're getting ready for all of the public outreach events, the open house, all the different things. So it's an incredibly, incredibly busy year.
Happy birthday to you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what is NASA Langley?
So NASA Langley Research Center. We are one of 10 different facilities around the country, NASA facilities. And so we are, a lot of times people think of NASA and they immediately think of like the Kennedy Space Center.
Right.
So that's another center. They do primarily launches to space. Then you have the Johnson Space Center, they focus on astronauts. We're one of several research centers. So we do fundamental research, science, and technology development in support of basically all of NASA's mission areas. So from aeronautics to earth science to development of space technologies, human and robotic exploration of space, we play a role in all of those different areas. So it's awesome to be somewhere where you get to see really the big portfolio of everything that NASA does.
And that's exciting that is happening here in Hampton Roads and in Hampton specifically. And that not a whole lot of people really know exactly, oh yeah, NASA Langley's over there, but what's going on there?
Yeah, well, we hope to change that. We are really, the centennial gives us a great opportunity to get the word out more to a broader audience about what we do, but also just regionally. I mean, I know there's a lot of people here in the Hampton Roads area who don't know and haven't known that there's a NASA facility here, but we're here. We've been here for 100 years. We have about 3,500 people that work at the center, and it's pretty evenly mixed between civil servants and contractors. And it's our budget. Our budget is probably around $890 billion a year.
Wow!
So we have about $1 billion local economic impact, and create about 6,000 local high-tech, jobs.
Yeah, and
so
that
a lot of great things.
Yeah, definitely. They're not only research, but you're also giving back to the community in the form of what you guys are doing in business-wise and job creations. So what are the main focuses at NASA Langley as far as aeronautics you mentioned? So can you expand on that, please?
So really the main focuses for us is aeronautics. So working on improving aircraft, making the air system as a whole, making it safer, designing future aircraft. What are the aircraft 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now going to look like? Making them faster, more fuel efficient, quieter, safer, all of those different things. In earth science, we're really all about trying to develop sensors and technologies that help us collect data about our planet and how is our climate changing, and why is there sea rise? Why are the weather systems becoming so more aggressive and frequent? Trying to better understand all of those things are areas that we work on. And then, of course, space technology and human exploration of space. So we have tons of stuff going on. And if you ever get a chance to come out there, which you will in October for our open house, you got to come see what we do.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
So as far as space exploration, I think on my mind and everyone else's, are we ever going to Mars?
Absolutely.
We are.
We're going. And there are so many things that are happening right now, not just at Langley, but across all of NASA to make sure that we're hitting our goal. And our goal is to try to have humans there by the 2030s.
Really?
Mars is hard. It's no joke. Mars is hard, but it is kind of the crown jewel of where we want to get to, because it's the only other.
Is that?
Well, it's the planet in our solar system that is most like us.
Okay.
And just recently we discovered that there's ice on Mars.
Yeah.
It's subsurface. We got to get to it, but ice means water, and water means
life.
We could live there. We could work there. And the whole idea behind Mars is that right now Earth is a single point of failure for humanity as we know it. And if we can't get off the Earth,
not to get grim or anything,
Right.
but
If we can't get off
a
the Earth,
reality.
then something happens to planet Earth, we're in trouble. So,
Right.
so really, we want to get humanity to Mars. We want to study it. We're doing that robotically now, but our goal is to have humans there to further that study and to further get more people on Mars.
And who would be going as far as, yes, it would be researchers, scientists, and astronauts, but would an average person be going? I know there's been talk with like Elon
Well, we're
Musk
focusing
and
on getting astronauts there. I mean, there's different groups that are saying different things about what they
Right.
can do and when they'll get there, but our goal is on getting American astronauts to Mars and studying that planet.
Yeah.
And to do so
That
by the
would be-
2030s. So it's kids today that are going to be the first footprints on Mars.
That is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Now, you guys have been there for 100 years. I can imagine that as far as buildings and structures, you guys are doing some revamping.
We're doing a lot of revamping. So we're about 5 years into a 20-year revitalization plan for
Okay.
Langley. So we are the oldest center. So we have a lot of old stuff, old infrastructure that's not as energy efficient as it needs to be, or is underused, or has become obsolete. So we're actively in the process of deconstructing, demolishing, removing older labs, facilities, infrastructure, getting that out of there, and then as necessary, replacing it with new, high-density, energy-efficient buildings. So in 2011, we opened up our first new building that had been built in decades, and that was our new headquarters building. And then just a couple years ago, 2014, we opened up sort of the heart of the campus, if you will, was our integrated engineering services building. It's a massive structure that pulled together all of our different training centers, conference centers, cafeteria. We have different types of engineering design spaces in there.
Yeah.
And we're still going. We just had a groundbreaking in April.
Right, I was about to ask
Yep.
about that, yeah.
So we've got our largest facility that's going to be built at Langley, which is a 175,000 square foot measurement systems laboratory.
Wow.
Almost a $96 million project. We awarded the contract in December. And we broke ground in April. So we're looking to open that up, I believe, in 2018.
Okay.
But then lastly is later this year, we're going to be cutting the ribbon on another new building. And this one's exciting and is probably going to be most familiar with a lot of people outside of the NASA fence. And it's going to be our Katherine G. Johnson Computational Research Facility.
Okay.
So Katherine Johnson, who most people know from the book and movie Hidden Figures.
Right.
She was all about mathematics. She was all about crunching numbers. And we now have a new computational research facility that is going to do exactly that. So
Wow.
what a perfect
Oh, yeah.
way to honor her and her contributions
Exactly.
and to name this new building after her.
And will that facility be opening, you said, this year, or
It's
you're
going to be opening later this fall. We're going to cut the ribbon on it and put it to work.
For Centennial, yeah, for
Yeah.
the Centennial year.
Yeah, exactly right.
That is great.
Yeah.
Right. Now, can you just go back? Well, I guess we have discussed what you're currently doing, but what is the vision? Obviously, we said Mars, but for the next 100 years, because I do anticipate you guys will be here for a very long time, unless
We're preparing for
you
it.
go to Mars.
Yeah, that's
before-
exactly right. I mean, that is why we are building all these new facilities and bringing on new capabilities and technologies, is to be able to do the work that we're going to need to do into the future. So for us, and I thought about this long and hard on the way in today when I was stuck in traffic on the bridge for an hour and a half. One of our visions for the future is what we call on-demand air mobility. So imagine, if you will, instead of having to get into a commercial airliner with 200 other people, you have your own personal aircraft.
So like
you
the
walk out into your
Jetsons?
driveway, kind of like the Jetsons, yeah.
I've been
you walk out
waiting
into
for
the
this
driveway,
moment.
you get into your personal air vehicle, and off you go. And so instead of sitting in traffic for an hour and a half this morning on the tunnel, I
could've
could have
just
just
flown.
hopped over the bay
Yeah.
and I would have been here in 10, 15 minutes.
Imagine that.
So that is really a vision for the future, and I think we're starting to see a lot of that happening now with drones and autonomous aircraft, and you've heard people talk about cars that are driving themselves. So the technologies are advancing, the capabilities are advancing. Now it's our job to look at, how do we integrate all of that? How do
Right.
we, if you and I were suddenly to have a personal air vehicle in 20 years from now, how do we get that into the airspace and do
Right.
it safely
Right.
and integrate it with all the other air traffic that's already up there? So we see that happening. We see that coming, and that's one of the things that we're trying to enable. The other thing for us, again, primary focus for the next 100 years really remains focused on Mars. Not only are we now working on getting there, but once we get there, how do we stay there? How do we grow things there? How do we build out things there? So that's another big focus. Then lastly, it's our own planet. Really continuing to better understand our planet, understand how our climate is changing, continue to develop sensors that capture better data and information about our planet so that we can learn how to mitigate things that might be happening to it and protect it. We've only got one of it, so we want to take care of Mother Earth.
Exactly. Yeah. And I do want to touch up on or ask about community, how you work in the community, or what type of community outreach you have as far as educating kids in schools, and how you work closely with schools in the area.
So there's people I work with, there's people at NASA Langley who would say that that's probably one of the most important things that we do, is try to educate, inform, and inspire that next generation of workforce. We need those kids who are in K through 12 and in college today. We need them thinking about being a scientist, a technologist, an engineer, a mathematician. How can they get into this field and come help us solve all these incredibly difficult problems that we're trying to solve to help our planet, to get to Mars, to make aircraft faster and quieter. So we have a lot of different programs that do that. We have a wonderful partnership with the Virginia Space Grant Consortium. We're in our 10th year of that, working with them every summer. They send rising high school seniors from across the state to week-long academies at Langley. And so these kids come in, they spend a week working with our brightest engineers and researchers. They work with members of industry and academia. And these guys build out a full-blown human mission to Mars. That's what they do in their week that they're here. And it's incredible. And it's really incredible when they come back and share their stories with us about where they've gone and what they've done. So that's just one example. We have a Hunch program, which partners with local high schools. Just a couple years ago, one of the local institutions' culinary program actually participated in a nationwide challenge to develop food and a recipe that would be used by astronauts on the space station.
Oh, cool.
And they won it. And so we now have a local school's chicken rice curry being eaten by astronauts on the space station.
That is pretty awesome.
So that's another great way to engage.
And that's just, for the students, that's really huge.
And we want students to really be able to see themselves in working for NASA, working in STEM fields, and contributing to the future.
And I think, I'm a parent of a 3-year-old and a 9-year-old, and I think, it's never been so much more easier to actually achieve that. STEM programs are, all around. They're being taught that at school, and the importance of it. It's just, within grasp. So it's really neat.
I can't speak highly enough of our visitor center. So the Virginia Air and Space Center in downtown Hampton, they are our official visitor center, and they're the primary interface between NASA, which is, behind a gate, kind of off the beaten path, but they're our primary interface to the public, and they get hundreds of thousands of people through there every year. And so they're sharing the story of our history, they're talking about what we're doing now, and they're getting the public and kids excited about the future as well. So they play a really important role in our outreach and engagement with the community.
Yeah, well, we love it. We're members, and so we go. And my daughter just enjoys it. We go for the STEM Saturdays, and it's just such a fun and educational way to spend the day, a good weekend or something like that. But is there anything else that you'd like to add before we close?
I just hope that people in Hampton, that they can come and participate in our open house later this year. It's going to be October 21st.
Okay.
Yep, October 21st. We're opening up the center. Going to let the public in behind those gates.
They got to take that chance to go and visit.
So they're going to come in. You'll have the chance to walk through our wind tunnels, to come into our hangar, to see the historical gantry where the Apollo astronauts trained, and where we're doing a lot of our testing now for the Orion capsule, and the equipment and things that we're going to need to get to Mars in the future. So we just really hope people can come out and spend some time with us.
That sounds so exciting. Well, thank you so much, Rob,
pleasure.
for enlightening us and getting me excited about traveling in my own aircraft. So
well, good luck.
Thanks so much. And thank you so much for watching. Remember that October 21st is the open house, so write that into your calendar. Thanks for watching.